Well, I've been quite busy with um, life lately, not having as much time as I had before to post a lot of videos on YouTube, working a lot and so on. Um, but there was one thing that was on my mind uh, recently, and I'm kind of late getting to this, but about the time that I started back to work, um, I noticed on YouTube there was a lot of discussion regarding the Kalam cosmological argument. And as framed by William Lane Craig, the argument is premise one: that which begins to exist uh, has a cause of its existence. Premise two: the universe began to exist. And the conclusion, number three: therefore the universe has a cause, i.e., God. Well, the discussion was over a particular objection to Kalam, which Bill Craig himself and various YouTube personalities were pointing out that on their view, um, the objection is kind of sophomoric, kind of a silly argument, kind of a silly objection or reason to reject Kalam. And what this objection was that things don't begin to exist. You have um, the law of conservation of mass and energy. So you have things changing form, atoms of matter changing form over time, but the matter itself isn't coming into being ex nihilo when a new physical object comes into being, say a human body or an animal body. Um, so the claim is that the first premise is false. That which begins to exist has a cause because nothing begins to exist. Matter is not eternal, but it's just changing form. It's not coming into being ex nihilo. So we can't really say that this new animal body is beginning to exist because the atoms, it's made out of pre-existing matter. The atoms are changing form into a biological organism, but the atoms themselves have existed for billions of years. Well, I think that is a valid point, that's not a very moving objection to Kalam. And it seemed that even some of the people on YouTube who are non-believers um, have agreed with this idea that that is not a very good objection. So my thinking is, um, it seems like people just sort of took note of this discussion, this dialogue that was going on, and then moved on with their lives. Um, but I think that's a mistake. I think that the pre-existence of matter since the Big Bang, I think that objection being fallacious, um, though the observation is true, matter does change form. It doesn't come into being when new material objects arise. Um, that seemed to be one of the main objections against Kalam that people on YouTube were giving for not accepting Kalam as being sound, as being a logically sound argument. Um, so the thing is, if that's no longer considered to be a sound objection to Kalam, and that's the reason why you were rejecting Kalam, then it seems that what you should be doing now is accepting it, embracing it. Um, However, uh, as I said before, people just seem to say, well, yeah, I guess that's not a good objection, and then forget about it. Well, if it's not a good objection, then that is kind of the same thing, almost, as admitting that Kalam is a sound argument. So, uh, what I'm wondering, and I want people to respond to this, um, if the main objection for against Kalam was the pre-existence of matter, and if the pre-existence of matter is now admitted to not be a viable defeater of Kalam, then why not accept Kalam? Why not accept it as a sound argument, and the fact that it is trying to prove that God exists is a fact as well. So this isn't something that I want to uh, argue about or critique what you say and so on. I'm just genuinely curious why, if you're a YouTube non-theist, um, why you would still reject Kalam, even though you don't have any arguments against it. So it could be that you had other reasons for rejecting Kalam. That's one possibility. Um, and the other reasons weren't addressed by this dialogue. But the goal of dialectic, the ideal, and this normally doesn't happen in practice, but the ideal is that through intelligent disagreement and discussion, people that are um, wrong, according to one group of people, will change their mind and start uh, agreeing with the people who were um, the ideal is to take false views and get people to change their minds about them. So, um, of course, both side thinks that they're right and the other person's wrong, and so it's a two-way battle. But the goal is that one side or the other is going to win, as far as getting the other person to agree with them. So the discussion about the preexistence of matter being a fallacious reply, uh, I'm just trying to highlight that and put it in its proper context, um, and maybe the discussion can continue from there. But the request that I'm making is, if you are a non-theist who used to think that that was a good objection, but now you don't, why you would still not accept Kalam and its conclusion. So please respond. And again, this isn't something where I'm going to say you're wrong and here's why, and so on. I just want to hear um, the reasoning behind your continued uh, unbelief. Thank you. So text comments, video responses. Um, Shalom.